There are so many different titles for Jesus, and they're powerful and they're beautiful. The Messiah, the Savior, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, Prince of Peace, Son of David, Son of God. Here's another, Son of Mary. It was very early on in the church, and a lot of discussion and certainly a lot of insights were woven together to say, how do we understand Mary? Who is she? And how does she relate to Jesus? And this awareness that the Son of God, the second person in the Trinity, came into our world, born, the Son of Mary. What does that mean for us? And how do we understand it? A couple of things to think about today. That as we look at our world, we look at our finite, imperfect world, how then do we talk about God, the infinite and perfect? How do we as the created, how do we as people who have brokenness and woundedness and challenges and obstacles, how do we as the created talk about the Creator? How do we get across this great big divide, this gap that we, with being bound by time and space, with our limitations, how do we get to the infinite? How do we get to the source of it all? Because we can't get there by ourselves. So God does it for us. The feast we celebrate is part of this mystery of the Incarnation. Jesus becomes like us. He's got a mom like us. In other words, what we couldn't do to cross the gap, God does for us and comes into our world, becomes like us, bound by time and space. That God was willing to come into our world at our level to meet us where we are at, in everything but sin. To know what it's like to hurt, to bleed, to laugh, to cry. To know what it's like to be hungry, thirsty. To know what it's like to be like us. Simply put, God came to us so we could come to know God. That's the power of Mary's motherhood. That she is that bridge that links us. She's the one that connects us so that what God can do for us is help us cross that divide, linking us to the Lord and to one another. Friends, the power to this is pretty simple. We are standing now in a brand new year. And as we look back at the past year and look to the future of 2015, the simple question I would say is, what do we need a bridge to get over the gaps and the obstacles and the boundaries in our hearts? What is it in our lives right now that's on our plate that we say, I can't do this by myself. I'm going to need a little help. I'm going to need a little strength. I'm going to need guidance and power and grace. And knowing that I can't do it by myself, knowing that Jesus has already done it for us, how do you and I find that bridge that we can walk across to say, Lord, help, please. Lord, I'm going to lean on your strength. I'm going to lean on your grace. I'm going to lean on your power. To do this, we simply have to look at, okay, then what am I confronting? What have I learned from the past year, and how am I going to apply it to the new year? And what is in front of me that needs to get done? What are the people in my life, or the situations in my life, or the circumstances in my life that I need to address? And maybe I don't know how I'm going to get over that big hole, so I'm going to call on Jesus to help me. But it takes each one of us to do a little internal searching. What is it that we will be confronting? And then second, how will we call upon the Lord to help us on the journey? How will we look to the Lord? Because we got to know what our issues are. And once we know them, then we can apply the help and grace that God lavishes upon us. When Mary said yes to the angel Gabriel to be the mother of God, the mother of Jesus, she made it possible for us to know Jesus, to know God's love, and to put it into practice. Folks, that's my prayer for the new year. That the grace and power and strength that we celebrate here is something then that we can live each and every day, because we know that the Lord, who became like us, walks with us to strengthen us and help us each and every day. May we call upon that grace. May we trust in the Lord's love. And may this year truly be blessed. God bless you all.